What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge with me from Across the Park podcast. Hope you're all well and hope you all have a boss weekend. It's always a bit of a
flat lull.
Yeah, it's just international week and you're just like, what the fuck? Obviously, people will know, watch the show. I'm not that bothered about it. Neither are you, international. So, might be a bit of a shorter show, bit of a reminisce on Everton. Absolutely flying.
Flying's probably a bit of an overstatement, but we turned the corner. I think it's fair to say.
I think you have, yeah. Obviously, we've got the Reds flying. Tom Aspinall's big win. A little bit on Emma Raducanu.
Decent bit of boxing this weekend.
Again.
Nick Ball, who's Scousers out there again. Big fight for him.
Yeah.
Against Dogbo, and again, real chance for him to step up.
Yeah. Just a bit going on, but it's just a fucking... What the fuck is the point? Like, are these friendlies or are these like?
Oh, I thought we were talking about then.
No, sorry, this international.
Big question, that.
But I just think it ruins, personally for me, it just ruins the whole
momentum.
Weekend.
I mean, personally speaking, as an Evertonian, I was like, I'll take that because.
Really?
No, bear with me. We've really, and we'll talk about it when we talk about Everton. We've got probably 11 to 13 decent players that you think we can move up the league with. 2 or 3 injuries, and you're starting to get to that point now where we've been rolling out the same 11 now in the cup and in the league for probably the last 5 games. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's always a few minutes away from an injury. If someone like Takori gets injured, we've got Brantwaite and Tarkovsky who play pretty much every minute. Some of them probably need a rest. So I'm not saying like I'd much rather Premier League every week, but our squad's so thin that we probably need.
Are any of them going to be going away internationals?
Really, Brantwaite might play with the 21s, but you know it is what it is. Calvert-Lewin obviously isn't. Takore's swerved. Marley.
Has he? Yeah.
Is it Marley? Basically said he's not going to the African nations. He said I'm sticking with Everton. Which I think has made them go, well, sound, then you're not playing for us now.
Should we start on footy then, since we I've mentioned them a little bit.
The City game as well we could talk about.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
So, again, I think if we can just start with Liverpool, I'm just really happy with us just going underneath the radar a bit. Because again, even now, I don't think many people are talking about us. You think about it, if we picked up all 3 points at Luton, we're top of the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's how, you think the Tottenham thing we had, not great, but man, we're really, really happy with where we are. The only thing then that's just reminding me, you're going to have Salah going away for the African nations. That'll be a bit of a worry.
Who else have you got? No, you had Naby Keita last year. Obviously, he would have
been a massive miss, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and he was probably injured, didn't he? Probably missed the African nations.
Mane went as well.
Mane, yeah. It's only just Salah now.
I think it's just Salah, isn't it?
Salah's definitely going, isn't he? No way he's like...
I wonder if, like... I don't know, would he ever turn around and go...
he's like...
Mr.
Africa, isn't he?
Yeah, I suppose,
Must have been African Player of the Year 2 or 3 times now.
But yeah, no, really, really happy with how we are. I think really complete performance against Brentford. Who, listen, the Brentford manager, really big fan of him. I know that they haven't been quite the same without Tony and stuff, but...
Hot and cold, I said that's it.
They are really hot and cold, yeah.
They either turn up and... I mean, he had a few chances, didn't he, on another day? Yeah. Could have been closer, but... I think you still looked like he's had another gear. I just don't know. With Brentford, he is a good manager, but
I do like him. Like
I do. I don't know. It just sometimes if I was a Brentford, supposed to be a little bit frustrated. It's like every win is like, oh well, in Thomas Frank, and when they get beat, it's like, oh well. I don't know. I mean, look, you can't. Where are they in the league?
The 11th in the league.
How many points are they above us?
The same points as Chelsea. They're only 2 points above yous. But I mean, you look at Liverpool, 27 points, level with Arsenal, just a point behind Man City. Conceded like the joint fewest in the league, and I think that was a big thing for Liverpool fans thinking we need to shore the defence up. There was a few question marks over Van Dijk. Will he ever get back to that previous 2018-19 form? Listen, they've conceded the joint least with Arsenal, just 10 goals, and they're scoring quite a few as well. I think there's only 2 or 3 teams who scored more than them. Just really, really happy with us. I mean, they got beat obviously midweek to lose, but that draw against Luton, you got the draw against Brighton, the defeat to Spurs, which obviously was a bit controversial, and the draw away to Chelsea. There's probably the Luton one where you'd say, you maybe take give us a point there for the Tottenham game. You say you'd be happy with that, but a draw away against Brighton, Spurs, and Chelsea, not the worst things in the world. No. It's only the Luton one which you're a bit pissed off about. And, we're sitting pretty there, just a point behind Man City. And I did say at the start of the season, I don't know whether it'd be a hangover from Man City's treble, or I don't know what, but I thought he let a few players go, which maybe shocked me a little bit. The lad Palmer,
one of them's come back and bit
you know,
in the arse.
we'll talk about them in a bit, but I think, yeah,
I know what you mean. I
wasn't as fearful going into the season against City, and the one big thing though, which I wasn't quite sure of at Liverpool, is if we'd hit the ground running, where, you know, a whole revamp in the midfield. You know, 2 weeks before the start of the season, you've lost your captain, Fabinho. A couple of squad players have gone in, Milner and Chamberlain, and suddenly you're thinking, fucking hell, what are we going to do here? So, a lot of question marks, but they've just answered them all so far in pretty, you know, convincing fashion, obviously apart from the odd game here and there, which has just given me real excitement going forward, added to the fact that, again, Man City are, you know, blowing everyone away.
I think it's one of the seasons, right, where it's going to come down to the head-to-heads massively. The only real head-to-head you've had so far, because I think we've already seen now Tottenham lose a few players as they have. They're probably going to start finding their level now, which is probably around 4th to 6th, isn't it? Where they probably should be. Arsenal, I think, I did say at the start of the season, and I remain to think they'll be there or thereabouts.
Still think, yeah.
Yeah, I do still think so, yeah. I still, where are they? A point behind you, maybe?
Oh, level with us,
so
yeah.
I still think they'll be there. You know, they've still got a few players out, Arsenal. I still think I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll compete. And it's going to come down to the head-to-heads between you three. I think you, Arsenal, and
yeah, I think that's going to be the top three.
City.
I think I can see
Newcastle
Spurs
again. If they've lost players now, they'll start slipping down the league.
Yeah.
You think Chelsea, and we'll come on to them in a moment, they'll probably start to climb, and it'll be them and United. I still think United, even though they've had the troubles, they're still showing enough form in the league to get results. I think there'll be a gap between the top three, and then the Chelsea and United, and then maybe a small gap to like your Newcastle and Tottenham, and then the rest of the league then. Yeah,
no, I agree. So yeah, I mean, the next game after the internationals is Man City. It's the 12:30 kickoff. The only reason I think Klopp can't moan too much
City
about
have
that,
got just as many.
Yeah, I think if they were playing anyone else, it'd be like, come on. But I think Klopp will be made up if he's got to play the 12:30 kickoff. The fact it's against Pep, who's got just as many reasons to moan as he has.
They're sharing the plane, aren't they? All the City and Liverpool players are on the same plane coming back.
They,
yeah. Apparently that's common. Said the South American like City and Liverpool basically share this plane or something that they pay for between them. City's probably got, we'll sort that, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'd be great if we had like a squad player who's also gone away though and just kind of kept the City players up all just
as a laser pen.
Yeah, every time they're going to sleep on the flight, just giving them a little slap.
A wet willy.
Imagine that. The fucking conference after the game didn't get no sleep because Van Dijk kept on fucking yeah. But that's going to be massive, like you say. I mean, we'll talk more about it next week. But yeah, I think it will be those head-to-heads because I don't know. Like, I think Liverpool going about the business really well. Yeah, we've played Spurs, we played Chelsea, we've obviously had the derby. I don't think we've been massively tested. We've had tough games. Don't get me wrong. Spurs and Chelsea. Obviously, you only picked up 1 point, but
I think what'll be interesting as we go through the season is the fact that yous are probably going to be able to pick or make 5 or 6 changes in the Europa League versus City probably having to still field their strongest.
Do you know what? That's players. A great point. I think.
And Arsenal are probably going to go deeper in the competition, aren't they?
That Europa League, it's just like the League Cup, I think. It's got that kind of feel for it, whereas, you know, you look at Newcastle, they're playing Dortmund midweek, they're playing PSG, they're playing AC Milan, they're fucking Toulouse.
Yeah,
I know.
Even West Ham are making changes in that competition and beating teams.
Yeah,
half comfortably. Villa the same. Villa's obviously the Conference League, but
yeah, I think, and even if Liverpool do go far in this competition, which I expect they will, I can still see them putting out.
Yeah, Curtis Jones is going to play. I think. I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan, and again the goal of the weekend's probably going to further vindicate it. Jota's just got to play more football.
Yeah,
and Nunes has got to be the Europa League. Klopp, for me though, still seems determined, almost stubborn to make the Nunes thing work now. It's almost like, no, he's my man and I'm going to make sure that.
Yeah.
And look, he sees him in training every day, doesn't he?
But I think there is a pressure because he is that star signing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. But
I'm with you though, Jota, mate. What a player! What a player!
He's a great player.
And I think Salah keeps that form going. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about what Liverpool could potentially do this season. I think it could be I think like a maybe league and cup double. I honestly do think we're dark horses for the league, really do. You got City, who are not exactly in great form. I mean, what a match they were involved in on the Sunday night, was it?
First time in 882 games that Pep have been involved in a 4-4.
Yeah. I mean, some of the scorelines he's hitting, I mean, they are scoring goals. He's had obviously a 4-4, a 3-0, a 6-1, a 3-0, 3-1. Scoring a lot of goals.
Clearly missing John Stones, you know, he come in and got injured again, didn't he? It just seemed to me like they're missing that I don't know if it's his presence or his influence on that back four.
Yeah.
Because I'm still not convinced by what's his face they got from Bournemouth.
Nathan Ake.
Nathan Ake, yeah. I'm not convinced at all by him.
No, and you know what? If you're gonna knock Pep, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to have a kind of pop at him and over anything. But I do think it's his transfers. You know, like sometimes the players he's let go, I just didn't quite understand it. Mahrez, I thought was brilliant. What an impact player he was. I thought he kept Sterling. I thought.
Yeah. I'm still baffled by the Cancelo one. Like I know he's like an out and out attacking fullback, and maybe he didn't work with that inverted fullback type thing. But what a player! Yeah. And like you're having to play like a Kanji left back, and it's like again we to criticise him, and
that's what I mean.
Top of the league,
it's
they're
impossible
still playing the Champions League. They still could go and do the treble again.
Yeah,
but
no, it's impossible to knock him. But I think if there was any slight on him, you'd go. And then the latest one, Cole Palmer. I mean, he scored in his last 2 games against Spurs and Chelsea. And Man City. What a player! 21 he is.
Like, looks a serious player, and again, like you're not telling me. And look, we don't know what the ins and outs of that deal was. You're not telling me if he didn't sit down with Cole Palmer and said, "Look, you're going to get 20 games, 20 starts this season, whether it's the League Cup, whatever." You will be getting 20 starts. You're not telling me he wouldn't have stayed at City, been there since he was a kid. He'd clearly been told, or his agent had been told, that we can't guarantee you X, Y, and Z. Now, you can't get that at any top club, but Chelsea have been able to say to him, come here, you will play.
But you know what? I'm looking at that Man City squad, right? I might sound like an absolute idiot for saying this, but you got that Cole Palmer, right? I'm just going to get his stats up now. Jack Grealish, like, I'm just looking down on his stats now. It's not even on there. He hasn't scored for Man City since at least May. Grealish. Now, we're in November.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
He hasn't scored since at least, it might be further, but at least May he hasn't scored for either England or Man City. Now,
what is assists, though? Must have had a bag full of assists, surely.
This season, he's only played 7 games this season.
Oh, fair enough.
He's got 1 assist.
It's rubbish. I think Jack Harrison's got 3 assists and 1 goal in the same amount of games.
He's played in the League Cup 1 game. He hasn't scored or assisted. I'm a bit of a fan of Jack Grealish, but I'm just thinking you're letting the likes of Cole Palmer go, and I don't know. Yeah, that's the only thing I'd say. And I also think Haaland, as great as he is as well, and I think obviously he will be great. I had a feeling with him letting Sterling and Mahrez go, that he might not get as many goals, and he wouldn't be. I know he's still fucking getting the odd hat-trick here and the odd brace here, but I honestly think he won't score as many as he did last season.
I mean, it'd be hard to, wouldn't it?
I don't think he'd get close though, you know.
Don't you reckon?
No.
What's he on now?
Let's see. He is on at the minute. I sound like an absolute idiot because he'll end up putting about 5 past us. He's on 13. He's
13 in what?
He's on 13, and don't get me wrong, 13 and 12.
Yeah.
It sounds mad, doesn't it? But honestly,
so he's on track to get 40 goals, isn't he?
But he won't though. Honestly, he won't.
No,
I'm convinced of it. So cracking game though,
Great game.
And I think Chelsea, they've at least shown signs that.
Yeah, and you know what? They've still got a lot of players injured. Still got a lot of players out. Still like 8 players that we could probably get in that team that are out injured. So there's a lot more to come from them.
I'd much prefer it as well. It is an exciting season now, isn't it? When you think of like the resurgence of Spurs, you think of what Chelsea got the potential to do. Arsenal have shocked me and are still kind of picking up from where they finished off last season. You've got the resurgence of Liverpool again after
United
a poor
can
season.
still beat teams, can't they? Newcastle, if they get everyone fit, can beat teams.
Yeah,
there's a lot more teams.
Beat Arsenal, didn't they?
And I probably contradicted myself there by saying it's about those 3 heads, but I still do believe that you 3 are probably just a slight cut above the rest of them.
Yeah.
And even the game at Stamford Bridge, it was City's to lose, wasn't it? The whole game. Like, it was like it was too easy for Chelsea to cut through them at the back, but City probably should have scored 5 or 6.
No. Spurs were the one that obviously shocked me. I thought he would get the win against Wolves. Well, they did up until like the 90th minute. They were winning, and conceded 2 very late goals.
I just think he look a bit leggy now, and again, a lot of people have picked apart the way they conceded, particularly the first of the 2 goals. And it's the 91st minute, and they're trying to play out from the back, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we're admiring the fact that you want to play football and be open and expansive, but doesn't matter who you are. It's 1-0. Even if it was Man City playing Sheffield United, they'd probably be tempted to knock the ball up.
I think it was Jamie O'Hara made a good point on TalkSport, and he said, like, Ange needs to realise he's not playing every week against like a St Mirren or a Hibs where you can just smoke everyone 6-0 or 6-1. Sometimes you go to somewhere like Wolves, or you might go to Villa Park, you take a draw. Do you know what I mean? It's 90th minute, it's 1-1. Not a bad point at the end of the day. Whereas I think he's got that attitude of, we're the top dogs in the league. Yeah. We're going to smoke everyone, and obviously it's the Premier League now. You can't do that. United, I never watched the game, but apparently another lacklustre performance. They just scraped over against Luton with a 1-0 win.
I mean, take this with a pinch of salt, like, but they're the informed team in the league, you know. They're in the best form in the league.
Who is?
That? Man United.
God, so they are, yeah. How's that?
It's mad, isn't it?
How is that?
Because I heard a comment from Ten Hag in the week, right? And it was after they'd obviously lost to Copenhagen. And his comment was basically, judge me on my results. I'm like, you just got beat by Copenhagen. And then when I heard that, I was like, okay, so he's referring to the fact that in the last, 6 or 7 weeks,
I think it's because in 4 games there, they got beat by Copenhagen, they beat Fulham 1-0, they got beat by Newcastle out the cup, and they got beat by the local rivals Man City 3-0.
So it's the cup games and then the Man City game there.
So I think you look at the last 4 games, only 1 win, and it's against Fulham. But then when you put it into context like that, they are the top.
But how far are they off you in the league? Like 4 points or something?
In the league, there's 6 points behind Liverpool. So yeah, interesting one. Another big shock of the weekend, mate, was the Blues. 3-2.
Yeah.
Did not see that. I thought a draw at best.
Yeah, I actually backed a score draw, and it was looking that way for a long time, wasn't it? But no, I mean, I've obviously spoke about it at length on our podcast. He's found a way to win. I was with him at a work too on Thursday, and I was talking to him about it, and talking to him about like the fact he's getting criticism for the lack of possession. And he's like, look, as far as I'm concerned, my job as the manager is to get the most out of those players and win football matches, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not targeting 60% possession. I'm also not targeting 30% possession. I'm just trying to win game to game, trying to outwit the other manager and beat the opposition. Sometimes it'll mean we have more possession, sometimes less, not on purpose. And again, against Palace, I think what you can see at the moment, and mentioned it before, is the 11, 12, 13 players that are playing, being the odd rotation or one or 2 players coming in and out. They clearly trust the manager, and they're comfortable in the way he's asking them to play. Yeah. I think they all feel as though he's getting the most out of them as individuals. They're all performing, probably not at the peak, but they're all performing well. I think if you start getting, it's a results business, and it's a cliche, but you start getting results, the fans kind of take a step back and go, okay, fair enough, give it a bit more respect. The players certainly do that. I think it's the first time in a while that you can see that togetherness of the players as well. And, you've got them all chipping in with goals. The goal scorers of the weekend are a perfect example. That Michalenko's got a second in 2 games. Gana Guy scored. The players that you don't typically see on the score sheet, and I think it's a sign that they're all kind of feeling, bit of freedom to get forward and get involved.
I think as well what the big telling thing is was it was a while going back, it must have been a few months, there was something, and it was like, it might have been the start of the season or something, and it was like you hadn't actually won a game in the calendar month for something like 3 months or something mad like that.
It was Deitch hadn't won a game in September or something.
It was something like, but you hadn't won in something like might have been like 115 days or something like that.
Okay.
Whereas like as a club or something, it's just the way it worked out with the summer and stuff, I don't know. Now you look back at, you've gone nearly a month now without tasting defeat. By the time you next play, will have went like, the 21st of October was the last time you were beaten. Your next play on the 25th of November. I just think that whole feel of like, I don't know, even as a fan of Liverpool looking at you, I think if you have got that thing where, God, I can't even remember last time we've won, Now it's almost, can't really remember the last time we got beat.
Yeah, and there's games where, you know, we're going behind as well, and there's games where teams are pegging us back and we're just finding a way to win. It's not like I think when we were just getting the 1-0s under Zayt, you're thinking, okay, well, we can see first, God knows what's going to happen to us, and that's kind of gone away a little bit now. And yeah, I look, we're in a good place, but just to reiterate, I think we've got a very thin squad, and we've also got a very small group of players that he trusts, and I think he believes can do a job for us, and that's where I think we might end up coming unstuck. But you know, we talked about at the start of the season where I thought we'd be. I thought we'd be a couple of places above the relegation zone. I thought we'd be fairly safe, and I think that's still where I think we'll be. Yeah. I think 15th or 14th is probably where we'll end up once we start to get a few injuries and we probably lose a few games. If we finish higher than that, I think it's a good season for us at the moment. I'm not getting excited. I'm just probably satisfied that finally we seem to have a bit of stability and I think again, a group of players who are working hard. You know, you can't underestimate that as a fan when you've seen so many groups of mercenaries that we have and so many individuals who just don't look arsed. These look like they do care and they're showing a bit of personality and character and getting some good wins. So,
mate, listen, first few weeks of the season, I did not see you doing anything. So, fair play, they have turned the corner. One thing I just wanted to touch on, because I saw actually a little bit about Ferdinand. They must have been on a podcast talking about Bellingham and why he turned down United. Basically, Bellingham wanted reassurances that he was going to play X amount of games. They couldn't give him that, so he ended up going to Dortmund. And you know, you look at him now. And just on this whole story about Ramsdale, so it's come out, and his dad's come out basically and said that they were given no kind of before he signed the new deal in the summer, like there was no even talk of Raya coming in. I'm just wondering, as a player, if there's sometimes, I mean, something that can be put in your contract almost, where you're like, you know, you hear players talk about manager reassurances. Is it done where anything gets said just to get him to sign on the piece of paper, and he'll just, you know, oh yeah, no, listen, you'll be fine, you know, you'll be playing every week, this. Once you signed, it's like, well, fuck you, I don't like you almost anymore. You've done me head in. You fell out of favour. I don't think it's that
extreme, but I'm certain that happened, yeah.
Because I just feel for him in the sense that, you know, he's like, yeah, you're our number one. And he's like, okay, if I'm your number one, I'm happy to sign. Happy days. And within weeks, as an outsider, it doesn't seem to have done that much wrong. And now all of a sudden he's stuck there at Arsenal for 3 or 4 years.
Not stuck at Arsenal, is he? If he's that good,
well, I know, but
he puts a transfer request and then someone comes in and buys him.
I think
the argument, if you've got a 4-year contract, though, which is probably what you're getting to, is Arsenal can probably demand 100 million.
And no one might pay that, so he's kind of stuck there. And I just think, again, the same with Bellingham, you know, I just wonder how concrete these reassurances are when someone says, look, yeah, no, if you sign, you're going to be playing every week.
I mean, if we're going to be cynical about it, it's the agents, isn't it? The agents have got a fair few quid for him signing that new deal. And if there's not a move on the horizon, it's the agent's responsibility to either... I know you can't get necessarily in black and white, say the manager said you're going to be playing every week, but you can say, look, he's got to play a minimum of 50% of the games. So, all right, you've got a little bit of a safety buffer there. The manager's got a safety buffer because if he's such a good keeper at the moment, how is he going to go from that to playing less than 50%? Yeah. So I know that can be the case. You can have something in your contract that says you've got to play a certain amount. And it's hard because
if you are massively out of form, then it's like, come on, you're playing crap at the minute. That's why you're not playing.
But if you feel as though you're that important to the club, then it wouldn't be an unreasonable demand to put in your contract, would it? But if you had no reason to think that,
I do feel a little bit. Listen, I don't feel sorry for him, but I do think it's a bit of a mad one.
It is a bit mad, but I think if it was true that Arteta gave him guarantees and then he'd gone and signed another keeper, I think you'd have seen the squad kind of seeing their arse a little bit over that. So I don't think it's the case.
But that is though what's happened, really, isn't it?
It isn't though. He hasn't said like, I'm not bringing it. I don't know. I just think the whole Ten Hag thing, I believe that the way he's treated Jadon Sancho has been reflected in some of the performances he's getting from some of the other players. I think they've had it with him a little bit. Certain players anyway. But I think in the case of Arteta, it doesn't look like that at all. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't see Arteta being the type of person who's, before he signed that contract, told him that definitively he's not buying another keeper. And he may have told me this was number one, but I think even when Raya came, he said, look, it's Ramsdale is currently number one because Raya hasn't even put the shirt on yet.
Yeah, no, it's a mad one.
But I think when he signs him, everyone almost thought, he wants Raya here, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, it's just, I don't think I thought he was a good keeper.
I don't
watch enough for Arsenal to know.
I think he's a bad keeper, is he? Remember when Pep hung Joe Hart out to dry, and everyone was like, "What? He's England number one."
Yeah.
But then he brings someone in, he's like, "Okay, fair enough." And then literally Joe Hart didn't go anywhere after that, does he?
No.
Kind of had a stint at Tottenham. He's at Celtic now.
He went off to France for a bit, didn't he?
No, that was Schmeichel.
Oh, that was sorry, yeah.
But yeah, there's a situation like that, isn't it? And you always think like, what's he done to deserve that? But
anything else on footy before we move over?
No, I don't think so.
So there was a few on tennis again. I'm just going to read the headline. I'm not going to make any judgments. But Emma Raducanu withdraws from the December exhibition in China as she continues recovery from surgery. She's not played since April now. She's had wrist and ankle surgery. She pulls out a Macau. That's how you say Macau. She's been stepping up at training, but she's still not ready. And you just hope that it just brings a bit of better luck next year for her with the injuries. She's dropped down to 289th in the world. That is mad, innit? That is one.
Mighty fall from grace.
On our Patreon this week, we talk about if you'd like to be anyone for a year, who would it be? No. Maybe here on the rise, and then just after 12 months.
Yeah, just bail it before it falls off a cliff.
But yeah, sad news that she's not played in here, because even if she recovers and she gets back going again, it's going to take her a bit of time to get going again, isn't it? Be firing off all cylinders. So she's still, done that. Alcaraz was defeated by your man, Alexander Zverev. And also Novak's going to end the year as number one, which I think is about right.
Yeah.
How fair.
Yeah. Although, again, as you said before, I'm not a huge fan of the rankings, to be honest. And you always tell the whole stories. But it's a credit to him at his age to be number one, because as we spoke about before, it's ranking points, and you have to play in a lot of events to get a lot of points. Yeah. The fact that at his age he's still playing enough events to end the year number one is phenomenal. No, it's unbelievable. Mate, in F1 this weekend you got Las Vegas. I think it's this weekend actually. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's this weekend. Yeah, starting this Friday morning. Yeah, that's insane. And it's Sunday's race off at 6 a.m. It's not like a dead technical track. I was watching Sky this morning. It's literally, mate, you're just pelting it down the strip, no. You do it like a left turn, and back down the straight again. No way. Honestly, lad, it's no way. Look at that. It's just literally just like, mate. It's class though, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be mad. So I was listening just to some of the numbers, just for anyone who's interested. It's something like they've had to build their own like little pit stop, and they've had to literally change a bit of the city. How's the spectators work? In your hotels, you're just sitting there watching the Grand Prix? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And what it's going what could have happened to the hotel prices during that time? Because well, so what they reckon is it's cost them about $700 million to put this on, but they reckon it's going to bring in about 1.3 billion. Wow. Just in that week. And they reckon Monaco has always been like, the who's who celebrities are coming to watch the F1. They said this is going to have everyone there. Yeah, I can imagine. Every man and his dog is going to be like there. The Ngannou Fury fight. Yeah. So it's going to be. Here's Dwayne Johnson. It's going to be sitting in a Bellagio hotel, zooming in on him. But what I think's going to be mad though is touch wood, there's not. But let's just say there's a mad crash, because that Las Vegas strip's pretty busy. Well, that's what I mean. I was thinking, where are they going to put all the people? It's apparently all the people in the pawn shops and that are just selling jewellery and stuff, and honestly, where are they going? It's gonna be, but it's literally just flying down the strip past the Bellagio and all that. So they must have done some shit. I mean, the roads aren't bad. Oh no, they've had to resurface completely, because it needs to be almost like pristine, like a laminate floor, doesn't it? Completely. Yeah, I watched a bit of thing on Sky about it. It looks absolutely mad. And also they're going to be saying that it's there's going to be loads of room for takeovers, because it's literally, you bomb it as fast as you can, 200 mile an hour, like the wacky races, and it's going to be who can break at the last minute to get. So I thought that was quite interesting, so to look forward to that weekend. It's 6 a.m. here on Sunday morning. Yeah, that was the problem that they said they had. It was trying to get it accessible for as many people around the world. So I don't think it actually starts until midnight in Vegas. So imagine trying to get your head down and you just you wouldn't be getting your head down. No. It's only in Vegas anyway. And mate, you got the boxing.
as well this weekend. In fact, before we go into the boxing this weekend, we'll talk about the fighting of the last weekend. We both spoke about our concerns of Big Tom Aspinall. That, you know, I think it was you that made a great point at saying, you know, has it come a bit too soon? He's took it on short notice. He hasn't had the prep of a full camp. But then at the same time, you can't really turn down these opportunities because they might not come again. That was our only concern. He stepped up, he took the opportunity, and boy, did he take it.
Wow.
First round knockout.
Phenomenal. But again, I think that was something, I don't think I said explicitly, but I said, the thing is, if you can come flying out the blocks, doesn't matter if you haven't had a full camp. If you knock him out in the first round, like, your physical condition doesn't come into it as long as you're powerful enough to knock someone out. And maybe that was in his head, thinking, if it goes the distance here, I'm probably going to struggle because I haven't had the time in camp that he has. But wow.
No, and I think with those heavyweights as well, do you know what I mean? You know, no one's doubting his technical ability. I think he was ranked 4th anyway. But those punches, mate.
They hurt.
I think the first one was in the temple and it just took him off balance, and there was a second one. And then another couple as he's going down, and then a few pummels, hammer fists when he's on the floor. And you can just see the emotion.
It goes how quick they get off, you know. Like, I'm just thinking, like, the zone you're in there, smashing someone in the head, knowing, like, there's almost genuine, not hatred, but you're like, you almost need to take them to the point of half killing them. But the minute the ref steps in, they're right off, aren't they?
Yeah. And his emotion afterwards, he's just obviously absolutely buzzing. I think he went and gave the belt to his dad as well, which I thought was a nice touch. His dad's been there with him, you know, since he was 9, I think, every gym session, and just buzzing for him, you know.
He's off to the Scouser.
Britain's got, you know, another champ in the UFC. That's 2. I think that must be the first time we've had at the same time.
At the same time,
Leon Edwards and Tom at the interim. So yeah, it was just boss to see. Absolutely buzzing for him.
Just an interesting one. Obviously, aside when you're obviously going to see Paddy in a few weeks' time. David Goggins has took to training him. He took him through Hell Week.
Tony Ferguson,
sorry, yeah. So what did I say then?
No, one. You just saying.
Yeah,
we just didn't
I
mention
thought I'd said his name and not said it. But yeah, so he's been training Tony Ferguson. David Goggins, if you don't know who he is, he's a absolute freak of nature mentally in terms of the way he trains, and really a couple of good books as well that are worth reading. But anyway, he's infamous now, got a huge following on social media. Just literally takes to social media every day talking about basically the
mindset and
attitude. Mindset and the biggest barrier to training is yourself, and get over yourself. And anyway, stay hard is like his thing at the end. But he's got this thing called Hell Week, and it's basically a loads of cardio and weight training for a week that he's been kind of putting it out to people to say people can't do it. And he's had hundreds of people, celebrities and all that, who've paid to do Hell Week. And I think there's only like 2 or 3 people who come through it. Tony Ferguson come through it last week, and it was interesting watching it. And obviously you can be cynical and you can say it's staged. I'm not having David Goggins would be privy to having someone not take the piss out of him, but not do it properly. He's vomiting every day, and he's like literally took him to hell and back, as Hell Week suggests. And one of
the thing which obviously as a massive Paddy fan, I'm going there, can't wait to see it. One of the things that did scare me a little bit was the post, and it was like this kind of really philosophical, cryptic kind of post, and he was kind of like, you know, halfway through the training, I looked at Tony and he was just like, I'm ready for more.
Well, he said on the first day,
he's broken and now he's ready. Like, do you know what I mean?
He said on the first day, so they said to his partner, I think it's his partner who like physios it, he said, he's gone here. He said, I could see him on the first day thinking, what have I got myself into? He said he got halfway through it, and I seen him start to smile and think, yeah. And that's when he knew enjoying it. Yeah. I'm enjoying this.
He's like got rid of the inner bitch. Me and Gary were texting actually, because also Paddy, and congratulations to Paddy and his missus. Yeah. Having twins. So 1 minute we're sending like the Tony Ferguson and Goggins, and the next minute Paddy's having a baby, and it was like, oh, Paddy's celebrating.
Paddy's going to turn into a softie.
Yeah, and now, but
obviously not.
It just makes for it, you know, such an interesting training camp, and I'm sure, listen, Paddy won't need anyone else to tell him how to train properly, but I think it does, for me anyway, it's given me that little bit more of a, oh fucking hell, God, this is
as you said though, and I'm sure it will be the case. You know, Paddy, you'll have watched those videos. If he wasn't censored by someone, he'd have been watching themselves and making him think, is that it? Yeah, is that the level we're going to? Then I'm gonna have to go beyond that, which I'm sure he will. And just
starting to heat up nicely. I've seen Paddy saying a few things about obviously Tom's victory. Obviously built big in his own fight up, and we're a month away. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got Nick Ball as well fighting this weekend.
Dogbo, yeah. Isaac Dogbo, I believe. Again, a British fighter, if you like. Not born, he's African born, I think. But again, he's been beat 2 or 3 times. He's only been knocked down by the current number 1 in that division. So it's a huge test for him. Big step up again, as every one of his fights almost have demanded to be. His rise to this point now has just been phenomenal. Let alone the fact he's a scouser. It's just been a really aggressive rise, which is in line with his aggressive nature. I fancy him to knock him out again.
Really?
And I think he's a good price as well, around 2 to 1. I really do. I just think Dogbo won't have faced anyone with his level of... It's without being dramatic, it's Mike Tyson-esque.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
He's only small. He's like 5'3" or something. But he's an absolute animal.
Scary, isn't it?
And I think because he's so small, and this is not making it like sound like it's an excuse for the opponents, but they're being hit at angles that they probably haven't been hit at, and he's so primed for a body shot, because if he squats, he's almost at like gut level to most people, and the power that must generate.
It's ferocious, isn't it? Just
and
ferocious.
The angles he's hitting them at, it is ferocious, yeah. So I fancy another knockout, and I think he's going to be going for that. There's no two ways about it. He wants to continue to make statements. He wants to continue to rise through the division, and I think he's primed for another knockout.
Just check if our trusted producer Musk sent us any other stories that we need to catch up on.
Well, there's one, and again, without knowing the ins and outs details of it, but it's worth mentioning it. I don't know if we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, about Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy.
No.
They've basically launched their own format.
We mentioned it last week,
their own competition format. Again, worth keeping an eye on, because it's certainly going to shake things up.
Yeah, I think just a little get ready for little bitchy remarks from one to the other. That'll start coming over the weekend, no doubt. Is it started? It might have been last week or this weekend.
This weekend, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what happens when it's an international, lads.
It is, yeah.
It's fuck all to talk about.
Kills us, though.
But listen, thanks for the support as always. We've just recorded the Patreon show, which is out already on Wednesday. So if you want to go back and we talk about jobs that we've done, jobs that we'd love to do, jobs that we'd hate, who we'd rather be for a year. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, social media.
A few name drops from me on who I was FaceTiming at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning on Remembrance. Good laugh. So get involved. And yeah, we see you soon.